Ciao tutti, it's your boy M.K.S here back in another video, as ever I hope I pronounced that right. Sorry to any Italians out there, I only support Italy in Amsterdam for the football, so sorry butcher that pronunciation. I'm just going to check I'm live on Facebook, which I am. So I'm on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Thanks for checking me out. If anyone does watch this video, which I hope people do, I appreciate you supporting my content. I hope people will like and share the video. I appreciate your views. And also on that note, please do post it in the comments. And welcome to the fourth and final part of my dreams, I suppose you could say, for helping Milan to become a scary team, the black and red team. And I talked about how they were founded by an English guy from Nottingham, which is not too far from where I grew up, and probably about an hour from where I grew up, I think, something like that. In the East Midlands of England, and that's why it's got an England flag as well. And I suppose a lot of teams like Genoa, in it also in Italy, and Barcelona also have an English connection. But yeah, the idea is, he said Herbert Kilpin, when he moved to Italy, I think his name was Herbert Kilpin or something like that, he said that we're going to make a scary team to put fear into the opposition. And for a long time, they did have really scary and great players, thanks to the late Silvio Berlusconi. But for this one, I thought I'd talk about what I hope to achieve in the future, putting into action what I talked about in parts 1, 2, and 3. I know I don't say that one, so. But I hope you enjoy it, and as I said, I'd love to know, what do you think Milan could do to get back, AC Milan, to get back to becoming one of the top teams? Could they work with the local fashion industry? Could they work with local industries, local businesses, councils, politicians, and whatnot? Could the Milan Council give them like 10% of the revenue of the local area to invest in football development, like I talked about before, or whatever? I'd love to know if you have ideas I might not have thought of, or whatever. So please do get involved in sharing it in the comments, especially Milan fans, those with a soft spot for Milan and that kind of thing, and anyone who can help Milan. So here goes. So number 31. These are 31 points. Number 31 to 40, as per usual, for anyone who might be new. I hope I do get new subscribers and viewers sometime, but it'll be cool. But as ever, I appreciate any support, including for my content and for including for Milan. If I ever got to monetize these videos, as I said before, and also scary videos that I might react to or even make myself in the future, I would donate any profits to AC Milan. So I've said it now on record, so you have my word on that one, any Milan fans and the club, which hopefully will be an incentive for Milan fans to check out my Milan videos, and also any videos I make on like scary videos, scary reactions. And in the future, I'd love to make a movie called Slasher, and also Crocodilian and the Monster, and maybe others, all being well, and work with autistic, ADHD, and other neurodivergent people, and maybe even people with mental health problems, to show what we can do through our creativity by making movies. I mention those because like horror and or thriller or any scary, creepy and macabre videos or content or whatever I make, I'd love to donate any profits if I can to Milan, AC Milan, mostly Milan for sure, as I say. One thing I was wrapping my brain around, trying to remember, I forgot to say in point number 13, and I forgot to say in point number 21. Or I suppose in hindsight, I suppose after I made the video, I thought, I could have said that, but could have, should have, would have, all that kind of thing. And I was trying to wrap my brain to try and, whatever brain I've got to work, to think about something I was going to say. May God forgive me for this one, and I hope that God forgives me. So please, God forgive me for this one. But I was thinking, as their nickname, the Devils, El Diablo, I think it is in Latin, but the Devils, or that kind of thing, also in English. I thought, what if they could be like the Devils League, the Devils Tournament, or as I call them, tourneys. A normal person would probably call them tournament, but I like to use the word tourneys. Speech marks, because it's like a little nickname I give them, and should call the Devil's Cup, which would probably be my favourite term for it. As I say, took a sip from the Devil's Cup or whatever, and that would be for teams nicknamed the Devils. So like Man United, AC Milan, and any other teams nicknamed the Devils. Maybe like Belgium, the national team, playing friendlies with Man United and or especially AC Milan, hopefully, and again, any other team that's nicknamed the Devils, Belgium itself, and call the Belgian League, because the Belgian national team is called the Red Devils or whatever. But yeah, any team that's nicknamed the Devils or whatever, practicing together in leagues, tourneys, actual cups or whatever. So a little competition between them. My goal for that would be to benefit AC Milan specifically, but it could benefit the other teams. I suppose Inter Milan, the rivals, they have the nickname. I'm a big mad fan of Italian football more generally, but they have the nickname uh, Snakes. So I wonder if they could be invited to that sort of thing because uh, I'm not sure about the Quran, but in the Bible, like the snake is seen as in line with the devil, or even the devil himself, or whatever. So the serpent and that kind of thing. And some people say the dragon or whatever. Um, but anyway, yeah. So just it's kind of a bit of a naughty bit of fun. I know really strict Christians. I'm not sure about Muslims, but really strict Christians probably wouldn't be too keen on that idea. So I'm going to forgive them for that one. But yeah, because they're nicknamed the Devils. But as I say, so I'd love to have like the Devils League, the Devils Cup, the Devils Tournament, tourneys, and that, Devils League, Devils Tourneys, Tournament, Devils Cup, or even cups, or in the plural, or whatever, a series of competitions maybe between them. So between Man United, AC Milan, any other team nicknamed the Devils, um, especially at youth level, and that for me would be to, especially for me, it would be to benefit AC Milan. It might benefit those other teams as a side sort of thing. Um, but I don't care much about those other teams. If I'm honest, I only care mainly about Italian or Latin, especially Italian teams in particular, and Celtic. Yeah. Also, I'll say so the scary movies I hope to react to and struggle make myself any scary movies, scary, creepy, or macabre, or whatever horror movies, thrillers, or whatever. I would love to donate any profits I make to the club at AC Milan. 32. I hope the club looks in learns from all different from its own history and from all other possible football clubs and maybe even other sports teams and businesses, maybe local businesses, could teach them, and people who are Milan fans who run their own businesses could invest into sponsor or even donate to the club, and probably teach them how to fundraise in all different ways. So I hope the club can find all possible ways to fundraise, all possible ways to get any sort of legal investment or sponsorship, as I talked about before. So I hope they'll find out of the box sort of thinking. Maybe and another thing I suppose I probably could have mentioned before, but I mention it now for what it matters. But is that I would love for the club to work with people with mental health problems, and also like Macmillan Cancer and other groups to sort of raise money for charity, which could come back to benefit the club, while it increases its reputation. I often think like Macmillan. I think that might be just a charity that's in Britain that tries to tackle cancer, and I think the name is similar to AC Milan, I guess, kind of a little bit. Um, but yeah, also as I say, working with people with mental health problems, I think like literations, mental health Mondays, mental health Milan, and that kind of thing. And a method to the madness. Maybe people with mental health problems can show what we can contribute through our creativity. As I often say, like method to the madness. Maybe there's ideas we could think of that other people might not have thought of. So we could show that mental illness is not always a weakness or a negative thing. Similar with neurodivergent conditions like autism, ADHD, and related conditions. Um, so I hope somehow to put these ideas into action. I hope to learn to do that myself and to suggest such and look at ways I can communicate these ideas for the club and how the club can be receptive to new ideas, new innovative ideas, and learn from like its own history, from Real Madrid, the benchmark, and Barcelona and others about how to develop youth, how to fundraise, or well, when I say fundraise, also like acquire any sort of way to bring in funds, bring in money, or investment, sponsorship, or whatever. Um, Again, local businesses, the council, the regional government, and whatnot, and that kind of thing. So any sort of legal source of funding they could get, creative ideas, and that kind of thing on that. And moving on, number 33, I'd love for former players, as I said, I hope that somehow these ideas get implemented, and I hope that former players will um, have their own academies and supports clubs in their name and honour, um, and get involved in coaching. And young Milanistas could try out Ronaldinho and R9, Ronaldo's, and different players' skills, especially with former players of the club, and there could be different pitches where they try out those skills. Um, Also, I talked in part one, point number 3, like all possible sponsorship and funding to have academies and training centres and that kind of thing. Point number 34, I would say hopefully former players can be involved generally. So I'd love for, again, I know I mentioned this before, but I'd love for Ronaldinho, Beckham, um, Ronaldo, R9, Kaka, and other players to have their own academies, uh, training centres, same sort of thing, academies slash training centres, sports clubs and whatnot, but also be involved in like managing. Maybe manage, some of them could go into management, or at least be coaches, advisors to the club, directors of football, dietitians, club brand ambassadors, advocates for the club in their home countries and that kind of thing, promoting AC Milan in Brazil, Holland, and elsewhere, for instance. So yeah, they could be the David Beckham training centres, academies for AC Milan, hopefully, um, and sports clubs and whatnot. And similar, as I say, for all the players, maybe Milan, again, the local council and politicians, and even the government itself and whatnot, could look at ways to entice investors and that kind of thing, and support the club, offer more funding and that kind of thing for training facilities, youth development, and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mentioned how like Ronaldinho unfortunately fell off the rails and went to prison and things like that. So hopefully the club can help him and he can help the club to a mutual benefit. So he can remain part of the Milan family, even though he played for Barcelona as well. But as a fan of Italian football, I hope that he can be part of the Milan family, and Milan could say, let's mutually benefit, so help him out, and also he can help the club out, especially with youth development. It'd be really hard to imagine Milan and Italy generally creating players like creating or producing, as I put it, players like Ronaldinho, but it'd be pretty cool. And again, same for all the former players. Number 35, I'd love to know from other Milan fans, like, what are your dreams for the club? Any Milan fans out there, please get involved in the discussion. Hope you will share the video, as I say, with each other, Milan fans especially, um, and get involved in the comments, like talking about what are the best ways to benefit the club. Number 36, I also talked before about how I hope the club will develop good young players, but also buy players from overseas. And I hope that somehow I can put these ideas into action. I hope somehow, and I do struggle with communication, but I hope that somehow these ideas are implemented. And number 37, I hope that the club, as well as the Italian clubs generally, will have a partnership with Celtic, which I talked about. I know it's so basically talking about what I talked about in parts 1, 2, and 3, and implementing those ideas mainly. Number 38, I wonder what merch they could bring out, and whether whether the passion of the fans can help the club. Again, they could invest into, have shares in equity and then whatnot, sponsor, and even donate to the club, depending on how much the club means to them. They could talk about what the club means to them and maybe write to potential investors and that kind of thing. So on that note, number 39, I would love for the penultimate point. I would love for Milanistas, Milan fans, to write to potential investors. Also, I know I mentioned again talking about the fans. Again, hope they'll behave themselves as much as possible, so they won't like cause criminal damage, get the club fines, and risk getting expelled from getting expulsion from certain competitions, and bringing a bad reputation onto to the club. I know some people probably like watching hooliganism or whatever, but I would love for Milan fans to as I say, invest into, sponsor, and even donate to the club, do fundraising things to the club, sell things to the club, like sell lemonade and give the profits or proceeds of the profits to the club and things like that, and get involved in coaching, improving diets, leading by example, some of the older people, and giving the club also giving more younger people opportunities. And I'd love to go and coach and share my ideas and philosophies with people in Milan in the future, talking about future dreams and like my bucket list, I guess, and that kind of thing. And finally, number 40, as I said in part 3 rather, a controversial one, but I love for like OnlyFans models, chicks, and all that kind of thing who support AC Milan, even people in that side of the industry, like more seedier industry, to fundraise for the club. But I'd love for Milan to do everything legally. One thing I forgot to actually in point number 39 is I was thinking, like, what if the club even said to some of the younger people, like, or the fans generally, or even some of the fans themselves, did things like litter picking, helping out in the community, doing things for charity and things like that, and give an example for the younger people. So again, improving the image of the club, although they're called the Devils. Maybe they could show that. So off the pitch, they are best behaved. It's just on the pitch to put fear into the opposition by playing so well, um, but doing everything legally, above board, as we would say in Britain. Um, Everything basically legally within the rules and that kind of thing. And on that note, I'm out. Peace and love.